That's good.
What's up? It's your girl Jessica Brown coming to you with another great episode of What Men Want, Couch Conversations with your girl Jessica Brown. Y'all, I'm very excited about my friend that I have here with me today. We go way back, or we've known of each other since way back, since high school or middle school. One of them, I can't, almost as long as I've known my good friend Crystal, I've known of this dude right here, but he is a serial entrepreneur. He is, well, you know what? You just go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
Feel free to brag.
I don't brag. I'm Corwin Davis, attorney by main profession. Do a few things on the side. What do I do? A real estate license. I do a little real estate, commercial leasing mostly. On apartment locating company, and I do photography as well. What else do I do? I also have an online drop shipping site, 3 of them actually. So look for those. Those are coming soon. We sell hair products, fitness products, and t-shirts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I brought you some stuff too.
Oh, I love gifts. Thank you.
Guess I was good.
So it sounds like you have a lot of irons on the fire. Let's talk about, being an attorney by main profession. What area of law do you practice the most?
Mostly personal injury.
So,
Some events.
like, I just got hit,
Yeah,
but
something like that.
on a different level.
Yeah, on a more personal level though. So not like you're just not the number type thing. So,
Right.
yeah.
So let's say someone that is watching this video ends up, God forbid, but ends up in a car wreck. Would they be able to contact you personally, or would they have to go through a firm to get you get your services?
You still gotta call a law office. Like I don't really like people going on my cell phone because that gets a little annoying.
Right, but is it your own practice, or is it going through another entity to get to you for those?
It's my own.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So y'all heard that. If for whatever reason you are in need of an attorney, do not, and I repeat, do not call those people on commercials. Call this brother right here.
Yeah. But I mean that's for anything, So if you have any legal problem, because if I don't do it, I'll always direct you to somebody who will, and not just somebody that's gonna take your money or look at you like a number or something.
That's awesome. So then you said you have a real estate license and you do mainly commercial real estate?
They do commercial, mostly like commercial leasing. Although the commercial market is kind of taking a little downturn because of COVID, then people realize that, you don't need an office if you ain't got to have one.
Right.
But I've always done residential, but mostly for friends and family. So.
Awesome. And then you said that you also do some photography. How long have you been doing that?
I've actually been shooting for about 10 years. So I started shooting when I was my last year of law school. But due to the stresses of being a lawyer, I've never really shot full time. It's more so hobby. I love the art form. I love everything about art and everything about photography. So I just recently started an actual page for it so that people can actually kind of see like, oh, dude is real serious about it. And so I don't actively promote it or actively shoot, but it's like a weekend thing for me. So it's pretty dope. I love doing it. So
Cool. Yeah, I love I can't say I love photography, but I love being in front of the camera now.
Yeah.
So today's topic, we are talking about the struggles of dating an entrepreneur or someone who is like myself, who is like you, and all we know how to do is grind.
Gotta respect it.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. And so, what struggles have you, if you have faced, or what struggles do you think a person could potentially face if you are the one that is all about grind mode and the other person not so much? What can you tell us about that?
I think the biggest thing is, I think originally I haven't faced it as much in my later years, like getting older, because I think people, the older you get, the more you realize that the 9 to 5 isn't gonna cut it. And so I think people kind of respect it a little bit later. But I swear, like when I first started, people don't understand being an entrepreneur.
Right.
You know, people don't like, oh, I get a check every couple weeks. So nobody understands, like you might work 12 hours a day, 15 hours a day. People don't understand that, you know.
Right.
So I think the major thing is a lot of times that it's just one of those things where people don't understand your time. Like people want to monopolize your time, but don't get the fact that you got other stuff to do.
Right.
And so I remember I had this one girl where she would tell me, I'd be like, yo, I got to go to work today, right? And she's like, oh, we don't spend enough time together. I'm like, yo, but I'm working so I won't have to work later, right? And so I was like, all right, cool. Well, you're going to get in where you fit in. And so if this is a problem with you now, then I would rather see that it's going to be a problem for you now than have to struggle with your ass later in life.
Right.
Because you ain't going to understand that I'm out here getting it for us.
Right.
Then, you know what I'm saying? So, but I think that's just it's a natural thing though. A lot of people that have never owned anything, that have never worked for themselves, they just don't get it. So people are comfortable going to work every single day, worrying about getting a damn paycheck, but they're not worrying about like retirement. They're not worried about, at this point in my life, I'm 35. So like for me, my ultimate goal is like, yo, I'm trying to get on somebody's beach.
Right.
Like give me another house somewhere and like sip my ties every damn day.
Right.
But you can't do that shit working 9 to 5.
Right. And so basically you're saying being with someone that doesn't understand the hustle, the grind, and the lifestyle, it's basically a battle for time. Do you love me more than you love getting your paper?
Nope, I sure don't. I don't. Like, I mean, no. That's like for real. I mean, I think that people don't understand, like, all that shit can fit hand in hand.
Right.
Like, but I think as being a guy, like I think a lot of people, there are a lot of female entrepreneurs now. Like people are really coming into their own and saying, hey, I need to do more, right? And so those people that don't understand what you go through. You don't understand the highs of it. You don't understand the lows of it, because you can grind 15 hours a day for yourself.
Right. And
that's different than working 8 hours for somebody else.
Right.
I can work my ass off and feel much better for 15 hours for me and work 7 hours for somebody else.
Absolutely.
I would rather make $60,000, $70,000 for myself than work $100,000 and make $100,000 for somebody else. It's different. I get off work when I want to. You know what I'm saying? If I need to go pick up my kids, which I don't have any, I can do some shit like that. I mean, you get to do a lot of other stuff that people don't understand. And so I think one of the things is that when people lack that knowledge, they don't understand it.
Right.
And so they can't fathom how you would rather go to work than, kick it with them.
Right. So I guess to share a little bit of my experience with that, at one point, a few years back, I ended up, I'm a steal something I heard on the show yesterday. I slipped up and fell into a horrible relationship. And this dude did not understand my grind. So here I am. By day, I had a regular 8 to 5 job, but as soon as I got off, I was hustling with JC Fitness. So I was teaching classes. I would get out of class and have literally 20 to 30 minutes to make it to DBU. And then I was doing night classes at DBU, doing a dual master's and PhD program, because I still have that desire to get my LPC and do a whole counseling part. It literally goes hand in hand with fitness, because there's so much mental that women are dealing with fitness.
But about me, we deal with some stuff too.
I really
I be looking in the mirror
men
sometimes.
clients.
I be like, I look in the mirror, and I be like, man, I thought you had a couple abs there, and I was like, my bad.
I mean, it's true, but I really don't have men clients.
Yeah.
And so, just putting those extra letters behind my name, I could charge people so much more just for my time.
Yeah.
But he didn't understand that and literally said, he felt as if I was more concerned about trying to get to a certain level making money than I was about trying to secure the relationship.
Shit, ain't no wrong with that. I mean, it's true. I mean, but like for me though, I think because I don't think it matters the fact that I'm an entrepreneur, but just because of who I am, I think building generational wealth is important.
Absolutely.
And so, one, I don't really believe in a stay-at-home life. Like, because if we're being honest, we're black. We can't do what white people do, right? So I think we do this whole thing where like, I want to stay at home, I want to do this. That's cool if we got little kids, but other than that, both y'all ass niggas out here grinding.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We don't have that luxury. So people out here you gotta support that shit. Like most women, and I mean knock on wood, and I don't mean to be like generalizing, but a lot of people want to be out here. They want to be kept. But so I mean, if you got a dude like me, I'm like, hey, shit, what I need to do to support that? Go make all that money, go bring that shit home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I think it's if you put it in perspective, it's like the more you make, the more I make. The more I make, the more you make. The more we both make, the more we make.
Right.
Right? And so I think a lot of people don't understand that concept, that when you have two people that are equally yoked in that manner, then, you secure your future. But everybody out here working for the future.
This is true. And I mean, and just in general, that's something that's lacking in the black community as a whole, is people thinking about building generational wealth versus just looking at the money that they have right now and blowing it right now.
But no, I agree with you, man. I think it's just so crazy. Our community is like, the way I think a lot of us are not necessarily super privileged. Mm-hmm. So when you get into a moment where you make a little bit of money, the first thing you want to do is buy the shit that you can get.
Right.
And I'm a cheap person though, so I have an expensive car. That's about all I have. But I just like to drive fast. If I could get a cheaper car that drove fast, I would do that. But
what kind of car do you drive?
I have an Audi A6.
Okay.
Turbocharged V6.
Okay.
Love that thing on the freeway. But but no, it's just like, it's one of those things where it's just like the first thing you do, and I think a lot of us, we grow up to, we see this idea, a G-Wagon, make 6 figures. But once you make 6 figures, you know that 6 figures ain't shit.
Right.
That's not a lot of money. Until you make it into about 400 grand to 500 grand per household, that's about a good amount of money when you talk about after taxes to support a family. But just making 6 figures isn't a lot of money. But where we fall into disarray is where we've grown up to think that we got to go get a job, we got to go make 6 figures.
Right.
And when you do it, all right, what's next?
Right.
Because you're still hustling.
Right.
So if you don't have an educated hustle to do something besides what you're already doing, which is entrepreneurship,
mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? You're gonna get stuck in that 9 to 5, that day to day. And don't get me wrong, I think there's a time and place for that.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with people having 9 to 5s. Ain't nothing wrong with it at all. But America has sold us this idea that we gotta work till we're 60. And who the fuck wants to work till they're 60?
Right.
I think one of the main things for me that kind of helped me was traveling. I didn't travel when I was younger. When I got my passport, about 10 years ago, and I went over to Spain, and I was like, man, this is different. Like, this is dope. Mm-hmm. And you start going to all these other countries, besides what black people do. We go to Jamaica, we go to Mexico. Oh my gosh, I'm traveling. No, like really traveling, you learn a little bit of culture. And so you realize it's like, yo, you can't wait till you're 65 to start traveling because
right.
you're never going to experience anything. And so if you're only working your 9 to 5, you're only going to retire at 65.
Right.
Which means you're never going to experience shit. Like, I can't go to the beach in South Africa at 65 and be surfing. Like, that's just not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could go to the vineyards and look out at the beach on my damn, on my recliner, but it's not the same.
Right, right.
And so, I just really think it comes down to, it's crazy because I have these conversations all the time about men and women communicating. And we talk about men being, we under communicate and women over communicate. But I mean, I think honestly, the source of all good relationships, whether they're platonic, you know, whatever it is, romantic, it's communication. And we just, as men and women, we don't communicate.
Right.
And so if we could communicate, like, you know, what we really feel, I feel like, you know, a lot of stuff would be super duper easy even when it comes to like entrepreneurship.
Right.
Because it's like, it's literally as simple as saying, baby, I don't want to work till I'm 65. Because I don't.
Right.
Like, you know, I'm 35. I want to retire when I'm 40.
Oh.
You know, my idea was to be a millionaire by the time I was 30. That shit didn't happen. So I'm still 35. So now my goal is 40.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, I'm going to keep pushing it up every couple of years. But at some point, some shit got to give.
Right.
You know, and so I just think that's what you got to do. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
So, with all of that being said, do you feel that being an entrepreneur or wanting more than just the basic life, do you feel that could create insecurities within a relationship?
Yes.
On both ends, or I mean, because you know, with everything that you say that you do, let's say you happen to dabble in all of it in 1 week. So you're working on some law stuff, you're working on, you know, a couple of real estate properties that you have to show, you know, or whatever. Then you got 4 or 5 photo shoots set up, and then you have your own podcast, right?
You do.
So then you got your own podcast that you should, like, you have all of these things going on.
Just because I ain't got no life, though. So I ain't got no life, bro. Yeah.
Do you think that insecurities could develop on your end as well as your partner's end? Because you're gone all the time. You don't know what she's doing.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, I think people in general are insecure. Let's just be real. People are insecure. It is what it is.
Right.
Like, as a man, as a woman, whether we talk about it or not, we're insecure. You know, and men probably just as much as women. Mm-hmm. It's just a difference of whether or not we actually voice it or not.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, grown people can do what grown people do. Like, if you're gonna go out and cheat, you can go out and cheat. If you're not gonna cheat, you're not gonna cheat. I can't control it, so I can't live my life worrying about what the hell you gonna do. Right?
This is true.
Now, it's my fault though if I allow all the shit that I do to detract from my relationship. If I don't put in what I need to put into the relationship, that's my fault. That's not any fault of all the other shit that I do. It just means I didn't prioritize right. You know, and so I think there are situations where people do what they got to do. Mm-hmm. And so whether someone cheats, whether they don't cheat, whatever, you know, you got to take her home regardless. You know, and so if you're not wise enough to do that, then that's on you. That just is what it is. And not necessarily, you know, saying that someone shouldn't be faithful or anything like that. But at the end of the day, like, you know, if you're taking out your time, right, to say, hey, I want to be with you, hey, I want to build on this relationship, but I'm also not actually giving time to that, mm-hmm. then I'm disregarding that relationship. And so, you know, and you can't blame that on what you do. Mm-hmm. That's you. That means you're not prioritizing, right? And so for me right now, I'm hella single. But you know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm like, hell, I can do whatever the hell I want to do. You know, right. So if I'm tired because I'm doing all this work, and that's cool. It's because I don't have anything else to do. So for me, it's like, if I don't have to if I'm not dating, then like, hell, well, go make some money. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or like, do the shit you enjoy. Like, I don't do photography to make money. I do it because I enjoy it. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I'm a lawyer to make money. I don't necessarily enjoy it, but I'm good at it. Mm-hmm. Right? But so I just think it's like, I think all of it can breed, anything can breed insecurity. You know, but everybody's insecure. But I think it's up to the individual person in the relationship to do their part to kind of heal that insecurity. Right. Because we're all insecure. No matter if we admit it or not, we all insecure about some shit. And counseling helps too.
I'm trying to think about me being insecure about something.
Oh, you're not insecure ever?
No, not that I can think of. It depends on the relationship that I'm in. And we talked about that a little